Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 20.
Made it to 20.
Oh, I almost threw myself off there. That's right. Congratulations, guys. Woo! Woo! Yeah, Eric, what's going on, buddy?
Just had a birthday.
That's right. Eric just had a birthday. Happy birthday.
The big 27. I'm an old man now.
Yeah, you're the baby of the show. And then the other guy that's with us is Dave. What's up, Dave?
Hello. What a terrible night to have a curse.
Ooh, nice.
There's very few. There's a little to pull from for Castlevania quotes, but that's a classic.
And how crazy is this? The last episode we did, we were talking about how movies that are based on video game properties are mostly really bad. And we talked about some TV shows and kind of flipped it around, video games that are based on movies and all that stuff. But here we are talking about Castlevania, which is a video game franchise that started in, late 80s, early 90s?
85-ish,
Yep,
I want to say.
Early NES days.
Is it really that old? Oh, my
Yep.
God. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, makes sense. Great game, huge fan base and all that stuff, and it's been kind of around. But maybe the games haven't been that popular these days. But it came back as a anime kind of style series on Netflix back in 2017 called Castlevania. There's 4 seasons, and we just watched the first 2, and it is. I think we all agree it's great, right?
It's awesome.
It's good.
Yeah, so man, but we haven't seen it yet, or hadn't seen it yet for the last episode. So here we are, kind of going right into this. It wasn't really planned, but I'm glad that we're doing it this way. So I don't know who picked this series to watch, but it was fantastic. I had a great time with it.
Yeah, I think we were all kind of wanting, this was something we just hadn't gotten around to yet, and we've all been wanting to watch it, so it's kind of a good excuse for us to start it up for the show.
Filling those holes.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, filling those holes.
That's what we do around here.
Before we get into other things, Eric, do you want to plug our social if people want to get a hold of us?
Sure. You can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. You can watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv/Nomads of Fantasy. Speaking of Twitch, I'm planning on doing a little Twitch stream. By the time anyone listens to this, it'll have already happened, but you can watch the archive up on Twitch. But I'm planning on doing some Symphony of the Night because I have a confession to make. I've never played a Castlevania game.
That's crazy.
That's tough.
Yep.
That is tough. I got a couple in on Twitch this week since we were getting into them this week, so I figured I'd kind of warm it up a little bit, get it fresh in the memory. But yeah, it's they're all good games. Well, there's some good games in there, but they're not all great.
So yeah, I'm excited to play my first Castlevania game. Like, I've had experience with the franchise, just like watching it, and I know enough about it to get some of the references in the show. But yeah, so I'm excited for that.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, thanks for plugging the social. Real quick, what have you guys been doing between the last episode and now? Let's go with Dave. What have you been up to?
Like I said, I played through Castlevania 1 and 3 this week on stream for a bit. I think it was the first time I might have actually beat 1. It's nice because the Castlevania collection on Xbox has save states, and these games are kind of especially the old ones are tough if you're not kind of save scumming a little bit, I guess, because when you get into Symphony of the Night of the stuff, they have actual save points where you can go to. You're not getting kicked back to the end of the level because some dirty skeleton knocks you off the edge of a cliff or something like that. So they're really like Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2, like they try to change it into an RPG.
There's a lot of cryptic shit.
I've never
in
actually
there, like just stuff you could not
I've never
find
actually
out
played through
without a fucking guide these days.
Yeah, and I was reading some of the guide, and like the townspeople like straight up just lie to you at some point. So
crazy.
Stuff that they're telling you is completely false, and I'm like, well, dude, that makes the game even tougher. But it doesn't. That one doesn't seem like it takes terribly long, but. It's funny because 1 was, straight up side scroller, whipping shit, boss fights at the end of levels, that kind of stuff. 2, they went, hard right turn. They tried to make it RPG. You're going around collecting things and buying whips from townspeople, and it has a feel of like a Legend of Zelda to Legend or Adventures of Link kind of, where they like completely change things up. And then when you go to Castlevania 3, it goes like right back to the same exact like same UI, same layouts. You end up going back to Dracula's castle at this, same point. Like you hit late in 3, you hit the first level from 1, and it plays like the same music, when you're entering the castle, and it's not the same level exactly, but it's got that same feel to it. You whip a boss at the end of the level, it drops some orb, you pick it up, blah, 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 you get all your hit points back, and you go on to the next level. So
Castlevania 3 is the one that this show is actually based on, because you play as Trevor, and then Trevor Belmont in Castlevania 3. How closely does the story match up with the game from the show?
Not close. No, it's not terribly close, I would say. There's like a little scroll at the beginning, and that's kind of all you get as part of the story. So I wouldn't say that.
What do you think the story would have been on 3? Kill Dracula and don't die.
Very loosely based.
I know like Sifa's in there and everything from the show, and like the whole conceit is to kill Dracula.
I thought Sifo's a dude in the game.
Really?
I could be wrong on that, but it's definitely like a person with a blue robe on. I always thought it was a girl, but then I think when I was reading it, like you can collect him in the game.
Yep.
So that threw me off, but it's weird because like, Trevor's got the whip, and like you just 90% of the time you're using him, but sometimes when you're going on bosses, like you bust out the mage, you only take one guy at a time with you, and when you're going through the game, like it's got varying paths that you can take to get to Dracula's castle. Once you get into the castle, it's pretty straightforward, linear, 5 levels. But to get there, you can take a pirate ship, you can go across a bridge, you can go different ways, and depending on which way you go, you get a different companion to come with you. So
that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, especially for being what is it? 1991 it came out, I believe. So,
89.
Or nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
89,
Cooler.
sorry. Dracula's Curse. So
Okay.
So yeah, I played through some. I still haven't finished 3, but that one is way tougher than the first one too. There's a lot of nasty tricks they play in that one. I played a little bit of some Game Pass releases this week. I got into some today. A game called I Am Fish. Let me look at the developer here real quick, but yeah, Bossa Studios, published by Curve Digital, which I don't really know either of them.
Okay.
But...
So it's fun?
Yeah, I was playing it with the kids for a little bit. You're basically like a fish in a fishbowl, and you're kind of like Marble Madnessing, rolling your way around a level. Like, you can't fall too far off a shelf or your fishbowl breaks, and you like.
That sounds
I have
fun.
to explain to my kid. I have to explain to the kid like why the fish is dying on the ground. I'm like, because you broke the fishbowl. Like, fishes got to stay in the water. So that was a little. That was interesting, but it's kind of like we played the first couple levels. It felt very Finding Nemo-ish, kind of, where you're like in a pet shop, like your friends get scooped out of the fish tank, and you basically like get put in a fishbowl, and you find out that you can roll around if you swim into the side of the tank. So it's like kind of like rolling a big marble around, and then get out of the pet shop, and you roll your way across some rooftops, and you're going from like building to building, and you can't fall too far, and you got to like land in flower beds and soft stuff. So It seemed like a little cool side game. It seemed like something it would be good to play with the kids. You just gotta explain to them that the fish has to stay in the water.
It's a 2-for-1. You get to teach your kids about life and death.
Yeah. So that one will probably be like a here and there kind of game. I don't think I'm going to be playing it too much by myself, but that was a nice little side one. And then the other one that came out on Game Pass was Skatebird, which I probably will be playing by myself a little bit. I mean, as odd as it is,
There's not that much of a game to that, right? Like you just kind of just go around just making moves, or is there an actual level? I'm trying to remember.
I haven't played it.
the first chunk of it. Yeah, you're in like your kid's room, and they keep talking about the big person coming back, and you're basically like there's other birds in there, and you're talking to the birds, and they're teaching you to like, hey, go ollie on this thing, or go do a hand plant manual on like this ramp to clean up these cups that they're trying to like clean up around the room, which is it's a little weird, but it seemed like a cool idea, but like it's not like a polished skateboarding game. It's not like a Skate
It's
3.
not a
It's
Tony
not
Hawk.
like a Tony Hawk. No. No. It's kind of cool because when you ollie, you can start flapping your wings, and you can double jump almost on your skateboard, where you can like fly up a bit, which seemed kind of cool.
Wouldn't it be really cool if there's another bird that you go against and he's like really good and his name is Tony
Tony Squawk.
Hawk?
The Birdman.
Anything, yeah, whatever. To get out of the copyright issues there, but yeah.
There is a dedicated squawk button. I think the squawk button adds like bonuses to your manuals and stuff. But when you start it, you can
like that.
you can pick a ton of birds, which is kind of weird, and put like hats or sunglasses on them and chains and all Viking helmets, whatever the hell you want. It's kind of dumb like that. Dumb fun, but I don't know. I was getting stuck on stuff, and it was like sometimes when you're trying to turn, the bird is like flipping out, and like the camera is jumping all over the place because it's bashing into things.
It's an indie game. Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed, I mean, it's definitely dumb fun, but I would probably go back into it just to screw around with it, just because it's, just a little side game that you can pick up and screw around with. But it didn't seem like it was going to be terribly deep. But I mean, I only played it for a couple hours, so I didn't want to get too far into that. But yeah, that one seemed fun. Definitely worth. I mean, it's on Game Pass, so it's absolutely always worth a download. So I'd definitely give that a try.
I'll check it out. Just looks like dumb fun.
And then prepping for the show's actually out on Hulu already. Why the Last Man? I finished up the graphic novels of that, so that one had an intense ending, and I'm not going to spoil anything because the show's out now, and I don't know how closely they're going to follow to the books or whatnot. But it's definitely worth a read. There's lots of 5 compendium books, which are fairly chunky. I think they probably have like 5 or 6 books in each. But I plan on watching Why the Last Man on Hulu sometime soon, because I think there's 3 or 4 episodes out at this point. So that was about it for me this week. Castlevania took up a lot of my time. So
All right. What about you, Eric?
So like we mentioned before, it was my birthday, and I got a very awesome birthday present from my family. They all chipped in and got me a new Xbox, the Series S.
Ooh.
The all digital edition, which is perfect.
And you have a PS5, so you're
and I have a
all
PS5
set for the next
and
gen.
I have a Switch. Like I'm set. I'm spoiled over here. But yeah, I got the Series S because it's first of all, it's much easier to find right now. And second of all, I just use Xbox for Game Pass. Like, it's just a Game Pass machine for me, so I don't need a disc drive in there.
Sure.
And it's cheaper. Like, I don't know. It was perfect for me because I got PlayStation for my main console, and then I got my Switch for my Nintendo exclusives and indies, and then I got my Xbox for my Game Pass. So
there's no exclusive that's gonna escape you, Eric.
Nope, I got them all. I got them all covered.
You got a gaming PC too?
No, that is the one thing I don't have. I have a laptop, but it's kind of old. It can run like Skyrim, but that's about it.
All right.
So on my new Xbox, I finished off Psychonauts, which I am in love with Psychonauts now. I absolutely love that game. Super excited to go on and play the Rhombus of Ruin, the VR game, and Psychonauts 2. So I'll probably have updates on those next week, because that's probably what I'll be getting into. Other than that, I just downloaded a bunch of Game Pass games. Haven't really checked them out yet, but I booted up Axiom Verge 2 because I bought that on my Switch a couple weeks ago when it came out. And I was a big fan of the first one. Just like Metroid, one of the best Metroidvanias out there. And Axiom Verge 2, I'm liking it so far. I'm only about an hour, maybe hour and a half into it. But I like it a lot. It's a lot more like melee focused instead of finding guns and stuff. You're finding like boomerangs and like other type of melee weapons and stuff. I haven't gotten too far into it, but so far I'm enjoying it a lot. That's about it on the gaming front. We also just subscribed to HBO Max this past week because I don't know, we've been kind of procrastinating that. There's just too many damn streaming services nowadays, but I know HBO Max has a lot of good stuff and got the new Matrix movie coming in December, so figured we'd hop in now.
Yeah, HBO is good with those movies that are coming out. It's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, it's really nice. You don't have to go to the theater, and they just show up on your beautiful TV with your surround sound.
I was gonna say that.
So now I got a backlog of awesome movies to watch, and we started
Parks,
all the Harry Potter movies are on there.
All the Harry Potter movies are on there. Yep, all the Matrix,
all the Lord
movies.
of the Rings, Hobbits, and Matrix. Yeah, they're really good at getting like, and all the Jurassic Parks.
Yep, Jurassic Parks, and they have
and
all
TCM
the...
Turner Classic Movies.
Oh yeah,
that's true. That's a lot.
And they have all of the like old HBO shows, like all the classic HBO shows. Like we just started up watching The Sopranos because we've never seen it, and we're liking it so far.
Oh my god, enjoy that.
And we watched the Friends reunion, which we're big fans of Friends, so it's nice that they got the whole series on there because it was on Netflix before, but then they moved it off once HBO Max came out. So that was fun. So yeah, now we got another streaming library to go through. So that'll keep us busy.
You're
for a
back
while.
up to paying for what you would have paid for cable before.
Exactly. Yeah, we got Netflix, we got Hulu.
But you pick.
We got HBO Max, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, right back up there.
We were thinking about canceling like Hulu just because we don't really use it that much, and there's not a ton on there that we typically watch, and like their exclusives aren't as good. So that would probably be the one that we would drop if we dropped any of them. But yeah,
same.
Yep, that's all I had.
Dude, all I have is Castlevania that I was watching and Uncharted 2. I didn't finish it. I'm pretty close to the end. And I think last episode I was talking about Uncharted 1. So I can see the leap from 1 to 2. Uncharted 2 is good. It's really good. Mm-hmm. It has reputation. It's
a lot of people's favorites.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm underwhelmed, but it's an amazing. I gotta be careful how I say this real quick. So like, it's really good. It's really good for when it came out. It's a game of its time, but as I'm playing through it, I can't. It may because of it's just aged. But, like, yes, the acting is stellar. The acting is really good. The story is fun. The levels, the places you go to are really cool. I thought the train level would have been better because everybody talks about it, and I was actually not enjoying it because of this one thing. It's so predictable and repetitive and it's a great game, but I'm just so aware of what I'm doing that it's like when I played 4, there were moments in 4 where I was like, oh, I forgot I'm playing a game. That's right. I gotta keep playing because I was just like watching it on the screen and just really good. But with 2, it's just like, okay, now we scale. Now look for this. Now look for that. All right, now go here. Drop down. There will probably be a guy. The guy's going to come over. You're going to fight him. All right, there's a rocket launcher. Get ready for the helicopter because there's going to be a helicopter coming because you have a rocket launcher. And it's just like repeat constantly. It's very formulaic. And in 2021, it just stands out. So that sucks because I bet when this game came out, it was really cool. But today...
It's pretty common nowadays, like... When this game came out, I feel like there weren't many games like this where they had like those huge set piece moments, like narrative storytelling, so like you said, for its time.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Like I think it's a lot of people's favorite because you had 1 and like it was good. But then when 2 came out, like they went even bigger with the set. Yeah, exactly. Yep. The set pieces just got bigger and bigger. But like you said, it is very like predictable and like it takes you out of it, especially when you die on one of those set piece moments, because you die, you get restarted, and then you play the same exact sequence again, until you get it right. Because like you'll miss a jump on a ledge and you'll fall, and then okay, you got to go back to this point, and it's the same repeated dialogue, same like queued up animations and everything for like the set piece. And
so a lot of the technical stuff on the train level was pretty. I remember watching like they did like full documentary about like what went into making the train level and stuff like that, and they just kind of melted my brain what actually had to happen to get that thing to work.
Yeah, dude, it is such a good game. Uncharted, man. I'm looking forward to 3, and I bought 4 again because it was on sale and it was on an old account. So I'm totally
4
gonna
is
ride this Uncharted
fantastic.
thing. And then there's a sequel after 4.
Yep, Lost Legacy. It's like a spin-off.
The one with the chicks, isn't it?
Yeah, Lost Legacy is really good.
Yeah.
That's one after 4. Yeah, you're gonna have to borrow my my PS4 again. Anyway, that's it. Uncharted 2. Going through it. It's awesome. It's really good. Just know it's from another era, another generation. Okay, I'm ready to talk some Castlevania.
Let's get into it.
Let's take a break and then let's get into the sweet show. We have returned to the castle of Dracula. And we're going to be talking about Castlevania. And we talked about this a little bit in the beginning of the show, but Castlevania is actually a video game that started in the 1980s, right? That's where it started, guys? Or am I wrong when I say that?
86 was the first one.
86 was the
Castlevania for the NES, Nintendo Entertainment System.
Nerd alert. Actually, Dave, do you want to, I don't know, Dave or Eric, but somebody want to just kind of give us a quick history rundown of what Castlevania, honestly, what does the name Castlevania even mean? Do we even know what that means? I was thinking about that as I was watching the show. I was like, what does Castlevania even mean? But I don't know, walk us through the history and then what we're going to be talking about.
Go ahead, Castlevania expert.
I guess I got the wiki pulled up over here, and it goes from like 86, and there's a game probably every year all the way up to 2014.
They were cranking them out for a
Yeah,
while.
they were coming out for a long time, but original came out in 86, stayed on the NES until 89, and went to Super Nintendo, and on and on and on from there. It's pretty basic. I mean, you're part of the Belmont family. In the first ones you were Simon, second ones you went to Trevor. Later, you went to Alucard, who's the son of Dracula. And more or less, you're just a family of vampire killers, and you're more or less storming the castle. Dracula's being a dick and murdering people, and you're just trying to get in there and kill him, more or less. So usually it's got its fair share of skeletons and undead stuff, and you're kind of going level by level and murdering all sorts of undead enemies, basically. So as far as the game goes, they all kind of stick to that basic thing. I mean, each one has its own spins, I guess. I mean, there's probably like, I don't know, 20-ish games, I want to say. So it goes on, but they've all kind of got that side scrolly. Eventually they went to 3D, which mixed reviews, but the Lords of Shadow ones were really good. They came out on the 360, I believe. Starring Patrick Stewart in there as well. Got to throw that in there too. They got that for the voice acting. So as a general summary, it's basically vampires and vampire killers and vampire hunters, I guess, to put it plainly.
Do we know what...
I assume the name...
Yeah, the name.
I assume the name Castlevania comes from... I mean, in each game, you're pretty much infiltrating Dracula's castle, and then you get wordplay with Transylvania, so just combine them. Castlevania. Because, I mean, the castle is the main set piece of pretty much every game, as far as I understand it, anyways. And then Transylvania, where vampires come from.
Oh, it's not Pennsylvania?
Mash them together. Crickets.
Says here, the international name of Castlevania is the result of Konami of America Senior Vice President Emil Heidekamp's. He didn't like the religious connotations with the Japanese title Akumo Dracula, which is translated as Dracula's Satanic Castle.
Oh, damn.
So,
okay, so I was sort of right.
Yeah, it was created by them to kind of get around the term Dracula's Satanic Castle, apparently.
I like that. That's a good name. Dracula's Satanic Castle.
So can I real quick just kind of just because I'm 40 and I was around in the 80s to play this game and kind of see the new ones released and looking at the graphics of Castlevania and be like, wow, this looks really cool. I always thought of Castlevania as it's the game that had the whips in it, or the chain stars, or the morning star, you know?
Morningstar.
Yeah.
Throwing the holy water.
That's what the game was to me.
Boomerang.
You didn't shoot
thing.
guns.
Yep.
You didn't jump on
Yeah.
mushrooms. This is the game where like the guy goes around fighting monsters, whipping stuff. And I thought that was really cool. That's how I always thought of Castlevania. Now I understand it's become very influential in the game industry. A whole genre is called Metroidvania.
Spawned a genre, half of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
so like Metroid and Castlevania are just, they were good at backtracking. Like, oh, you get to a door, guess what? Just because you find this door doesn't mean you can go in it. You can come back maybe if you find an item, or later in the game this might open up or something like that. And it was one of those games that was popular that did it. And so so they call it Metroidvania. It's a whole genre of this, and that's around today. Like Ori and the Wisps, a boatload of games actually do this, where you just kind of go back and forth. I mean, that's what it is, right? A Metroidvania. It's a 2D.
It's
retro.
Yeah,
looking.
things are
item-based.
Parts of the levels are gated.
Item-based
basically.
progression is what.
Okay, I
it
like that
is. Yeah.
description. Okay, yeah.
And I think Castlevania, I think it might have either been Rondo of Blood or Symphony of the Night were the ones that actually like incorporated that into it, because the first, I guess, Simon's Quest, Castlevania 2, they, you can wander around, and that's got a lot of that story base, or the
Like the water, I think, right?
like 1 and 3 are just like straight up linear, like you just go level by level. in those
Okay.
first couple, so.
I think
That's just a straight up like
Remember
action platformer. The earlier ones, yeah.
Okay. Real quick, which one had that annoying night mode that would kick in, where like you're playing the game and all of a sudden the game would stop, and then you would see?
What a terrible night for a
And it
curse.
took-
Simon's Quest.
That's
Oh
two.
my god, it was
It's
so
Simon's
brutal
Quest.
because it lasts like, I swear, like 10 seconds or something like that, and you can't do anything except watch your TV.
Yeah, or everybody. I think all the enemies have double hit points, and it's like all the towns are closed. You
Hated
can't
it
talk
when
to
it happened,
anybody.
though. It was like a buzzkill.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass when you get to that.
That's, I mean, Castlevania, it's one of those games like Mario, Contra, Sonic. It's one of those retro franchises that we just all know of. And here it is in 2017, they come out with an animated, I guess, anime styled. Yeah, it's definitely anime.
Anime inspired, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But for Western
Is it-
culture, I mean, it doesn't have the tropes that we kind of covered in some of the animes that we've seen with like My Hero Academia and stuff. But what were we gonna say, Eric?
No, I was just gonna say it doesn't. I mean, if we want to get technical here, it's not technically an anime because it wasn't created in Japan. Is
that
very inspired?
Is
yeah,
that a thing? Okay. Oh,
Yep.
I didn't know that.
it's traditionally Japanese animation.
My apologies.
No, it's definitely anime inspired though. Like,
So what do I call it? A fucking cartoon?
it's an adult animation is the genre.
It's an adult cartoon.
So Wikipedia says it's an American anime-influenced adult animated streaming television series.
Oh my god. All right, Japanese people, can we use the word anime as well so that we can not have a paragraph to describe what it is?
Right.
Well, anyways, yeah, that's anyway. But and if you don't like animes, I get like some of the things that turn you off about animes. But holy shit, I'm not even. I do like some anime if it's done well, and some Western shows have done a pretty good job. This is a great example of it. So I would say this gets a pass from me, man. I loved it. We watched the first 2 seasons of the Netflix exclusive called Castlevania, and it was great. I think we all agree, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a really good stopping point too, because like seasons 1 and 2 kind of have the same story arc. It started as like just the 4 episodes got greenlit on Netflix, and then apparently the same day that the first season aired, the second season was like greenlit to be made. So they just kind of rolled right into that as soon as the first season was released and continued the story from the first season. And then the end of the second season, it kind of concludes that whole story arc.
And it was a while.
So we're gonna get
Between
into
them.
spoiler territory
Oh, yeah.
on this. There was a bit of time, yeah. So I don't know. Do you guys want to just get into maybe the story and just kind of talk about the things that we liked, what worked,
Yeah,
or
sure.
is there anything
I mean,
else you
can
want
I give a overarching summary? I guess. Just
go for it? Absolutely.
Do it.
Dracula is back in the day, and he falls in love with a lady.
I've heard of him.
He finds a lady
You don't
that
say.
he likes, and she starts to bring out some humanity, and all of a sudden the
15th century Europe.
church shows up, burns her as a witch. Dracula gets pissed, decides to murder everybody. That's kind of...
That's a good synopsis.
Yeah. He goes, he gets pretty angry.
Goes ape shit.
She was starting to bring out some of his humanity and, not have him want to just murder everybody and live by himself as an old curmudgeonly, crusty vampire. So when she dies, he kind of flips his shit and wages a war on basically all humans.
Yeah.
So
Yep, he appears in whatever fiery form after his wife was burned at the stake, and he gives the people of Wallachia, which is where this place is set, or where the show is set. He basically gives them 1 year to, I don't know if it's to like leave or to like reconcile or do whatever they're gonna do.
It's to leave, dude. That first episode, oh my god! Listen, I'll tell you what. The first episode is one of the best episodes of the series, and man, you'll know if you want to watch the show or not if the first episode grabbed you or
First
not.
episode, they come out of the gate swinging.
Right. So you guys are kind of doing it kind of quick, but there's some things I kind of want to kind of dig in a little bit.
Sure. I just wanted to...
Right. So yeah, it's basically a love story where Dracula's human wife was killed by religious zealots in like basically kind of like the medieval times, thinking she's a witch, and it was just... I'll get into that later, but the way they handled Dracula, because we all think of Dracula as like two versions, right? Either like he's just this bad guy, or he's gonna be like this romantic character that we just don't understand, kind of like what the movies were doing with him.
Mm-hmm.
So in this version, he's kind of a mix, which I actually liked. I kind of liked this version of Dracula probably more than I've seen in a long ass time. I really, really, really enjoyed this Dracula. And man, when he is angry, it is some of the coolest shit I have seen in a while. Like when all right, so yes, his wife gets killed and he finds out. He gets there too late. And he finds out who did it. And he goes to the humans and says, because he didn't like them before, and he has a history with, because humans and vampires just don't get along, and she was teaching him about the ways of humanity and all that stuff, and to like kind of see them in a different light. But by killing her, that was just straight up like traumatizing him or whatever, and he just shut down instantly. That rage that he had, I thought they captured it so well, because I think they did such a good job in one episode, not even probably the first half, where we kind of understand. It's like Thanos, where we kind of understand why he's doing it. We saw the good in him. It's kind of like some Darth Vader shit. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they did a really good job crafting a character that we kind of already historically know. And I just thought that was fucking dope.
Kind of agree with him. I would want to murder people too. Like the one thing that like makes him the bad guy, I guess technically, is that he doesn't really focus the rage onto like the church that kills his wife. He just focuses it on fucking everybody.
All of humanity. Yeah. I mean, he already, like you said, before his wife came along, he already thought that all humans were just bad, like he didn't care about them at all. He wasn't out to like kill all of them, but
no, but
his wife
eats them, and
he feeds on them, all that stuff. Yeah. So his wife was trying to teach him that humanity isn't all bad, and he's trying to since Dracula has all this crazy knowledge of science and medicine and everything,
which I loved.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Love that,
because the whole conceit
that he's like a scientist. He's like a researcher. He's just smart because he's old.
Yeah, the whole
cool.
The whole conceit for Lisa, which is his wife's name, coming to find him was because she wanted to learn all of this stuff from him so she could help humanity.
Help, yes.
Yep. And so she kind of wanted Dracula to do the same thing, like travel the world and see how humans actually live, and try to change his mind of what he thinks about humans. But then once they kill her, he just kind of abandons all of that and is just like fire in his eyes, vengeful, wants to kill any human he sees. So he starts raising this army to commit genocide against the human race, essentially.
Do you guys see a parallel in Game of Thrones, or am I just seeing that myself, or do you guys see a little bit of that in this, where there's warring factions? No, you can't trust anybody.
Oh,
there's armies.
Yeah, I can see some.
Yeah, a little. I mean, a little bit.
Some thin lines.
Game of Thrones,
like in season 2,
a little more political, I'd say.
Sure, but like even still with the vampires, this is another thing I liked about this series is that Dracula's the boss, right? It's fucking Dracula, and he's super powerful, and when he's creating his army and trying to figure out how to wipe out humans, he calls all the great vampires of different areas to come join him and be his generals, and most of them do, and some come a little bit later than others and stuff like that. But I thought that was really cool how he was so full of rage that he didn't really think it through. He just knew that he wanted people dead, and he's like, we'll just figure it out. And the vampires need order, and they kind of disagree on some level of his goal, which they all kind of liken it to. He's on a suicide mission, and he's just blinded by his pain and anger that he's not really thinking this through. Like, who's the one vampire that gets wiped out? Godbrand.
Yep.
Where he just says like,
well, he brings up a good point.
What am I going to eat?
Like, yeah, what am I going to eat?
Pig blood.
When all the humans are dead, like, what the fuck am I going to eat?
When he says that pig blood gives him the shits, I was like,
that was funny.
That
was a good line.
You don't want to eat fucking pigs. Come on. He's like the Viking vampire too. Like,
pillage
Vikings from each faction. There was like an Asian vampire. There was like from all different kind of cultures. Each have their own vampire, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
You didn't get quite to meet them all, which I wish you would have gotten a little more in depth with some of them. But the ones that you did get to meet, and his, I guess we'll get into his, what did they call them?
Forge Masters.
Masters.
Hector and Isaac.
Oh, let's go into that. That's fine. I was just saying that I just like that there was inner conflict with the vampires, and it's not like they're all like humans are one side, and then the vampires on the other side. I like that even inside they don't really get along. In the humans, there's magic users, there's religious people, there's normal. I don't know. I love the different factions. That's what made me think of Game of Thrones. But yeah, dude, let's get into those two human characters because they might be my favorite characters of the whole show. I really liked Hector and Isaac. Is that, I don't know, the Forge Masters, right?
Yeah. And basically, Dracula recruits them to build his army because they have the human magic, and they take all the murdered bodies and they basically turn them into flying bad things or zombies,
soldiers
or whatever.
Of the undead.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're pretty badass, but like obviously the vampires resent taking orders from humans or having battle plans told to them by humans, or even just being in the same thing. So that kind of adds a little bit of the inner political battles between the vampires because they don't like that Dracula's using the humans to further his own means, which is cool. But I mean, each in the second season, because they both get introduced in the second season, you get a bit of backstory on each of them and why they're helping to try and wipe out their own race, which is kind of, I mean, that's fucked up in its own right. But yeah, those guys, they have a bit of depth to them. Like you get to see, which one? Isaac is the white guy.
No, other way around.
No.
Yep. Nope.
Hector's the white guy, and then the black
Hector.
guy is Isaac. Yeah.
Yeah, Hector. You can see is like the sensitive one. Like as a kid, he was just using his magic to like bring back these animals, and he wanted to like keep them as pets. But clearly, his parents didn't like his undead pets, so they kind of shunned him for that.
He just didn't connect with humans.
Yeah. Yep.
But he doesn't want the humans wiped out again. Like
no.
They
Dracula
wrote these characters
lies
so
to
well.
Him.
So cool.
Dracula lies to Hector when he recruits him, saying that, oh no, this is going to be a cull. It's not going to be genocide. We're going to cull out some humans to bring balance and then use them as livestock to kind of feed them and control them, or feed on them and control them. But that's a lie. Dracula just wants to wipe out all the humans.
Right. Correct.
And he tells Isaac the truth. Isaac seems more like
Isaac,
Dracula.
his closest,
trusts him more.
He trusts him more than anybody else, actually, and he's a human.
Oh yeah. Yep.
He even saves him at the end where he was toast, and he let him go. He said, "Get out of here. You're too good. For a human, man, you don't deserve to die like
I
this."
thought about that. Like, he cared about him so much, but then he fucking sent him to the middle of nowhere into like a desert to fucking die.
I thought about
basically.
that too, but I don't know. Like, who knows? It could have been
Why couldn't he send him to like a town? Well, actually, Isaac didn't like humans, so maybe sending him somewhere where he would be by himself was actually better for him, because you can see in it's like the last episode, Isaac is out in the desert by himself, and these humans roll up on him, and he just fucks them up like.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking brutal with that thing.
From Game of Thrones, where he kills them and then he resurrects them, and he slowly is making an army. And I was just like, dude, again,
I
these
like
characters
that
are awesome.
little teaser for the next season. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like you can tell that Isaac's got some plans. Like at first he was like, I feel like he was just roaming around. He didn't really have any plans to do anything. But then once these shitty humans rolled up on him and he killed him, he's like, maybe I can start my own army. And he just kind of does that on a whim, which was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like his backstory, he was he a slave before or something? Like he tried to do something for his master, and his master's just like beating the shit out of him with like this leather strap with these spikes on him.
Yeah, he was,
which is the weapon that he uses still.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That's kind of what fucked him up to like not. I don't know. That fucked up his sense of balance, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Well, he was like, he was all about. He told his master like he was trying to do research to help him with his work. And then he basically told him because he loved him, and then after that, after his master just decided to be like, no, do what I say. And he just beats the shit out of him, that Isaac basically resents all humans and was like, love doesn't exist. And, he just kind of abandons all feelings of love.
I know. And it was really cool when that like gargoyle, like monster like thing comes back after all of them got their ass kicked by Belmont and all them. And it dies right outside the castle. And what's his name?
Godbrand.
Yeah, he brings it in and says, damn thing died like 20 yards from the castle or something like that. And then Isaac's looking at it and he's just like, so you're dying, you came back. I don't know. Just the way he like looks at death and he looks at
he
loyalty,
related to it. Yeah.
You could just see that he's a complex character and he's written really well because he's a bad guy. What he's doing is bad. He's not a good guy. But there are some qualities about him where he just lives in the moment and sees things differently than everybody else, where he respected that the thing came back no matter what. And that was enough for him. And it's the same thing that he's willing to do, where it's all about respect, Mm-hmm. And the way he sees the world is very different than all the fucking vampires that he's surrounded with. And
well, it was the same. Well, it wasn't the same. Hector was like kind of the opposite side of the coin. Like he was like so engrossed in his work. At one point he just says, I love to work. Like he doesn't really care about, he's loyal to Dracula, but he wants to just do what he does, which is, he views them as like pets. Like he brings these undead creatures back to life, and you can see he like connects with they show it like a purposeful scene. Like he brings one of these undead creatures to life, and then he's like, the creature's like going crazy, and then Hector just like puts his hands on his face and like tries to connect with it, and he's like, yeah, like, I don't know, just that connection with his creations, essentially. He just kind of, that's what he lives for, and that's all he wants to do. So he was an interesting character, and I kind of felt bad for him at the end.
I felt horrible for him.
Like,
he's not a smart, he's smart in what he does, but he's not a smart guy.
No. Like I said, he's just, they've set, like, Carmilla, which is another vampire that comes in, and she's like, basically trying to overthrow Dracula.
She's the
one
real
who
villain.
kind of puts all these plans in. Yeah, she's the real villain. She puts all these plans into motion. She thinks that Dracula is just kind of going crazy, like he doesn't know what he's doing. So she wants to unseat him, and she's kind of scheming behind his back and everything, turning everybody against Dracula. And at the end, she just kind of takes Hector as her slave to build her an army, the same way he did with Dracula.
She says everything basically as soon as she shows up. She's like,
yep.
Her character is interesting because she is the worst. Like go fuck her. Like she fucking sucks. But she walks into the main hall of his castle and says this everything. Like was your wife your pet? Because that's how I see humans. And the closest ones that you get to it's just like a pet. Everything else is like livestock or whatever. But you might like a human, but only enough to keep it as a pet. What does she do to Hector? Gets him close enough that he lets his guard down, trusts her, follows her, and then she turns him into his pet in the worst way possible. She also says to everybody else, like, yo, Dracula's not in charge. The guy does not know what he's doing. There's no plan here. A bunch of old men and little boys. There's no leadership here. I've seen this before. You know what I did? I killed that guy. She tells her story. And here she is, and she usurps him in a really cool way, but that whole scene of her hometown or whatever that was, it's just like, fuck her, but she told you everything.
That was such a cool scene. Yep.
Can you walk me through that scene real quick? Whose town was that? Who lived there? Humans or vampires?
The town of Brilla was the name of the town.
That was a human town.
But why were all the guards there vampires?
So she called her, basically her army from her hometown to come there and basically try to overthrow Dracula. So she set up this whole plan because she knew there was a bridge there with water where they could bring back the bishop, and he could bless the river and make it holy water. So when they blew up the bridge, basically a bunch of Dracula's army gets killed in the holy water in the river. So she did that. She brought them there to that town on purpose.
What were the humans doing? Just there was that cowering in fear that a bunch of
there's a vampire army there. I would be cowering too.
Okay, I must have missed. Okay,
yeah, it was like the other towns that got attacked by the undead army.
Okay,
like they were just all cowering in fear. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know. We should shift over to the.
I know. It's a good show when we're gushing over the bad guys and we haven't talked about the right heroes.
I was gonna say
heroes yet.
We should.
Oh yeah, do you know there's
shift
good
over
people?
to Trevor and Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard's banter and everything was just great.
Go for it.
I loved all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, when we first meet Trevor, he's just kind of like a drunk asshole in a bar.
Kind of cliche. Like, don't talk to me.
Yeah, he's just a drifter.
Drifter. I'm too cool. They can't be bothered. Drunk.
Exactly. Can't be bothered. But
likable as fuck.
In the back of his and in the back of his mind, he's looking for a fight. Like he's like. He goes up to the bar and is he's just drunk out of his mind.
He's
like
funny.
An asshole, and
he's got a sense of humor, which I liked. We needed. I mean, the whole show's got good humor, but I don't know. Him and Alucard's fucking relationship, at the end of the second season,
back and forth between them.
They
so good.
He's like, all right, we're good. Half human, half vampire. Guys, like, yeah, vampire hunter, and they're like. He waves at him, and then Alucard gives him the finger, and he's like, "Fuck you." I don't know.
Fuck you. Yeah,
I love it's kind of bro-ish, but it worked. I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
Well, you could tell in the beginning when they met Alucard that Trevor was very reluctant. Obviously,
he thought it was Dracula.
Yeah, and he thought it was Dracula, and his family, his whole lineage is just hunting vampires and hunting these monsters. So. Obviously, he's going to have this innate hate for him, but it's really cool that you can kind of see their relationship grow throughout the second season. And then by the end, they are they still got this back and forth with each other, but you can tell that they actually care about each other by the end, which was cool.
The first season was a lot of getting the band together, really, because you get the Dracula in the first episode, and then the next three are kind of Dracula attacking the town, and then
a lot of world building.
Yeah, and Trevor kind of turning from a drunk into, you can see a little bit of like what he could be kind of shining through, and then that's when he meets Sypha. Oh,
Sypha, yeah.
Meets her. She's like a speaker, which is like these kind of mages that travel around and just help people. And he helps some old guy, and she got turned to stone down in a dungeon or whatever. And they kind of talk about the savior that's buried. I forget, they got like a fortune from the future or something about a savior that's buried under the town or whatever. And it ends up they end up falling down there in the last episode and finding out that Alucard's only been down there a year, but technically it was like a fortune from the past telling them about the future. So like, I don't know, everything kind of lined up, but it wasn't quite what they thought. But that was kind of cool. By the end of the first season, they kind of like, the band gets together, and that like, the whole second season's going to be basically them going after Dracula.
Well, one of my favorite scenes was in the season finale of the first season when Trevor and Alucard were fighting, like when they first met, and like they had that huge fight sequence. Like, I don't know, I thought that was awesome. Like that you could tell that they were both, well, Trevor at that time wasn't really at the top of his game. Like he was still kind of coming off his like drunk antics. Like he was, he still wasn't really taking anything seriously. And then once he met Alucard and they fought it out, which it was really cool because I wasn't really expecting like Alucard. The whole fight between them was kind of like a test to see if Trevor and Sypha were, ones he wanted to work with to try to take down Dracula, because Alucard was kind of waiting there, and they give like a hint of something that happened before where Alucard tried to take Dracula on by himself some other time before all of the events of the show happened. He was really injured.
End of the first episode, you see him come in because Dracula was about to start his genocide or whatever, but you don't see his face. You just see the light behind him. And I think you're technically supposed to...
I don't remember that. I'd have to go back and watch
that. I'm assuming you're supposed to think it's like a Belmont, but you'd never really make that connection until he says it and you see the big scar in his chest and all that stuff. So,
oh, I actually don't remember that. Okay. So yeah, the reason he's down under Greshit, I think it is because he's like healing after his fight with Dracula, because he tried to take him on by himself, but he realized after he got his ass kicked that he needed help, and anyone that would find him down there was clearly worthy to try to help him out. So he kind of tested Trevor and tested out his skills and everything during that fight. And then that's, like you said, Dave, that's kind of when the band got together and they started planning to take down Dracula.
I mean, a part of, well, and I guess you'll see this when you start playing Symphony of the Night and you see some of his moves from Symphony of the Night. Like,
ooh, that's exciting.
Parts of, and that's why I think we can actually chat about a little bit about what makes the show work so well, because the game is its own thing and the show is its own thing, and it's not technically, 1-to-1 from any one Castlevania game. They're not like retelling a specific story from any Castlevania game, but I was reading that the guy who wrote a lot of these episodes, well, I think all of them actually, Warren Ellis, like when he started writing it, he didn't have any, like, he didn't know really much anything about the games. He didn't really know much about, the series or anything. And I think that lends itself to it because he's not trying to cram all that stuff from the games into the show. He's just writing a good story based on the games rather than, making a show about a game or something like that. So, yeah, I think that helps because you'll see stuff like the whip animations and the daggers and, Alucard's little teleport thing and his sword that floats behind him, like, is in a lot of the Symphony of the Night stuff. So that, I think in general, like, that's a good reason why. The show isn't trying to horn in stuff from the games.
Well, I mean, there
ends up playing well.
It's nice because, like we were saying in the last episode, I think anyways, I think the best properties to take from a video game and try to adapt it is something that doesn't already have like a strong story in the actual video game itself, because I mean, there's a lot of lore in Castlevania. Yeah, it makes it way easier. There's a ton of lore already established in Castlevania and a good world to build off of for a TV show like this. And like Dave was saying, it takes pieces from like a bunch of different games and kind of mashes them together and makes its own original story, you know?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, when he said he started, he's like, they're talking about when he was writing it. I guess they said this game was in development, or this show was in development hell for a little bit, as they quote it. But his quote is, "Actually, I'm not a gamer, and the awful truth is I've never played or even seen the game."
Oh, wow.
So from him to start at that and kind of like take bits and pieces out of the lore backgrounds, because like you see backgrounds in the games of like the libraries and stuff like that. And that's one thing that I thought was super cool about the show is like how fucking cool the castle was, because that's pulled right out of the game. Like that shot, like that thing is just badass, and the way it teleports, it makes a lot of sense, I guess, in the whole sense of things. But
yeah, that's really cool.
The way that like the cool machinery in Dracula's castle and stuff like that, you can see a lot of that in the game backgrounds, but it's not necessarily like part of the game or does anything with the game. It's just kind of
set dressing,
window dressing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that they kind of picked and pulled from stuff, and the fact that he wasn't like, I don't know, wasn't a diehard Castlevania guy when he went to write the story. Like he just wrote a fucking good story.
But they did it right, because like you said, they wrote an original story, but they still had a little bit of that fan service in the show. Because like when Trevor finds the Morning Star, for example, in the Belmont Library, you're like, oh shit, that's like the iconic fucking weapon from the games.
Mm-hmm.
And when fucking Trevor and Alucard and Sypha storm Dracula's castle at the end, Bloody Tears starts playing like its own composed version. It was just so
that was awesome.
So yeah,
like you hear that hit and you're like, yeah, oh fuck yeah.
Shit's going down. Like that fight scene with them and Dracula's war console, and I think it was the second to last episode of season 2 was awesome. So yeah, I like the show a lot.
Couple of things I want to point out that I really enjoyed. I thought Alucard, the way he used his sword with like the fucking force.
Oh, so cool.
I love how it was just so sexy every time he did it. He would just, even like when they stormed, and every time he opened and pulled his sword out and all this stuff, it was cool. But when they stormed Dracula's castle at the end of season 2, how it's just like, I love how it's just like sits behind him, like it just rides there next to his head, and it's just like he just goes and the way he moves is really cool. But
it's practical because he has his hands free, and then he can use the sword to like attack like behind him or like someone over that.
I loved it.
It's really
and
cool.
I like how Belmont. Like Trevor, I like how Trevor's whip was animated. It animates just like
so
the
cool.
artwork of the cover of the first game in Simon's Quest. I thought that was really cool how they got the whip to just. I don't know how they even drew this shit. There was this fight scene with like Dracula fighting. God, he was fighting like maybe Belmont or something like that on a walkway. And it was just wind, so like Dracula's hair is moving, and there's a whip going around, and he's got a cape on, and I just thought that, like, man, this animation, this artwork is really good. I enjoyed it so much of just looking at it. I paused and had to rewind the show because I was noticing I wasn't keeping up with the story. And I was just getting caught up in the design and production of it, that I was like, God damn it, what did they say? The world building comes in like bursts out of nowhere sometimes. And it's just, so I thought that was really cool. Just, I don't know how they animated and kind of captured those scenes. I thought it was really cool.
I stared at a lot of it because
I was gonna say, like, the 3 characters, how are they not like, that would be an awesome video game. Like, she's making like ice kind of weapons and shooting like stuff out, and then you got Alucard zipping around. He's got like this like sword that zips. I don't know, I thought it was really cool. And then Belmont with his whips and stuff like that. It's like, how is this not a video game? This is really cool. And it's based off a video game. I just think, I don't know, man, that's cool.
When he's whipping that whip around, it looks like it's like 40 feet long because it like wraps around. Right. It wraps around him and like other people like 4 times. But No, the one thing I wanted to say is like
But he's like Indiana Jones.
I would stare at like things because you could tell that like part of it is hand drawn and part of it's like computer drawn. Where like things like the mirror, where you can see like reflections in it, and those little pieces that come together.
Yeah, the mirror, all the mirrors. Yeah,
but like characters' faces and like
that
a lot of the gore was hand drawn. Like there's some nasty shit that happens to people. But it's just
especially in the first episode.
Yeah, it's a fucking beautiful game. But the fight scenes, like people are just getting stabbed in the face and getting arms ripped off, and just like all sorts of fucked up stuff is happening. But I will point out the one major flaw of this entire show, and it is glaring. You can't look away from it.
Oh, I know Trevor Belmont.
Trevor Belmont's beard.
Oh my god!
It is the shittiest drawn
it doesn't bother me.
beard
I tried
I've seen ever.
See if it would bother me.
It didn't bother me at all.
It looks like somebody just drew
weird.
like V lines on his face. It's horrible. Like either shade it in or draw some dots or give it some texture to it. Something.
Oh, like the comic book collector in Simpsons. How he has that.
Yeah, or like give him like the outline and then just put dots in. I don't know what to do, but like the shitty V lines on his beard, I just kept staring at that and be like, I'm wishing that it was just drawn differently. That was the one thing that like
I was more like offended by maybe Belmont's haircut, where it's just he looks like he looks like Final Fantasy VIII, like Squall kind of character. It looked like a Final Fantasy character.
Yeah.
Like everybody should have ponytails, long hair, and he's just got
boy band hair in the face. And he's always got that one piece of hair that comes down in the middle constantly, no matter where his head is. It's kind of annoying. But voice acting in the show, I guess we can touch on too. That was solid all around.
It's good. Yeah, it was good.
Really good.
Especially for an animated show. I looked at the cast and I don't recognize a ton of people. I don't know if you guys did. I know. Let's see, Richard Armitage is Trevor.
I recognize some voices.
Some of the voices
from The Hobbit.
sound familiar. From The Hobbit, okay.
Thorin
from The Hobbit.
Oakenshield from The Hobbit.
Thorin.
Okay.
Yep. He's like the main dwarf guy in the
okay.
I didn't recognize
Dracula's character.
James, but...
Dracula, who's voiced by Graham McTavish, is also from The Hobbit. He plays Dwalin, which
he's the number 2 man in. He's Thorin's buddy in The Hobbit.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I thought he did a really good job with the voice, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. So,
dude, I thought the voice of the bishop was really good. And we've seen this, I forget his name, but we've seen this guy many times. He's been around, but I was like, man, I really, really hate this bishop. And I hate his voice. Yeah, and they did it really well. And I just thought, so good. Yeah. Great voice acting there.
Matt Frewer, I believe it is. But it looks like he has been around for a long time and all sorts of stuff. So
he's got a very recognizable voice too, and I noticed it right away. Even kind of like Blood. What is it? Oh God, Godbrain or whatever. He's like that guy that was in I don't know Big Lebowski and Fargo, and you've seen this guy around. He's always like I think he's like Russian or something.
Yeah,
European actor. Yeah, yeah. So. I recognized a couple voices. The only voice that, and it didn't bother me. I just didn't think it was like a good choice. Was Sylvie? Was it
Sypha?
Sypha.
I agree.
Sypha. I don't understand why she's European yet she has like is it Hispanic?
We don't know she's European. She's like a speaker, so she could be from anywhere. She's a nomad.
I think that's why I know. Yeah.
So she probably, she travels around so many different places. Maybe she picked up accents from other places and it's kind of combined. But I agree, her voice acting was probably the weakest out of all of the characters. I would say.
It wasn't bad. It's just like I don't know why she sounds like that. That's not what I would have pictured her to sound like. But
I'm just noticing
everyone else sounds awesome.
It's the actor that plays Alucard is James Callis, and he is the doctor Gaius Baltar from Battlestar Galactica. Like I knew the voice from somewhere, and I'm just flipping through the IMDb. And...
Nerd.
he was not know that one.
He was a fantastic character on that show. He's one of my favorites on there because he was
kind of sounded like The Witcher. He kind of sounded like that guy. I'm gonna talk like this the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
My dad
There's
is
nothing wrong with The Witcher. Just leave it alone.
Oh boy. If I had
that's a whole nother episode. We can complain about that.
if I had one criticism of the show, I don't know if I would call it a criticism. It just left me wanting a little bit more action scenes, you know? Like there's
a lot of fucking talking in season 2.
There's a lot
the second one is
like Game
slow.
of Thrones. There's just so much talking.
Yeah, in like the middle of season 2, they do a lot of like setting up like backstories for like, which I liked a lot of that stuff, but like I just wish I did want more like action, because a lot of the action scenes were some of the best parts of this show, which it's another thing to be said that like maybe they showed some restraint and like it meant more when you did get a big action scene because it made it more impactful. But I would
the first season's only like a cup. How many episodes is the first season?
It was four. And I'm kind of, if I saw that when it first came out,
much world building. Yeah.
Like, cause it's
but
such
I'm just
a
saying
tease.
that like there's so much world building to do in the second one that they had a lot of kind of, you know, talking to do. Honestly, I think because the vampires are introduced. When are they introduced? In season 2? Right?
Like the war council, the war council.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to think now. You're building up the bad guys, so you get to see their inner conflict. So there's just so much storytelling and introductions being made that I just think that
a lot of the
part of season 2 has that.
A lot of the I don't know. A lot of the internal conflict between the vampires, like it was important for the story, but some of it was kind of boring. Like I was kind of watching it a little bit in the background because I didn't really need to. I don't know. I felt like I didn't need to pay attention to a ton of that stuff. So there was a couple of little slow parts, but I mean, like I said, we've only watched the first 2 seasons, so I have no idea like what seasons 3 and 4 are like, but that's just my general small criticism of what we watched.
I'm with you on that. I totally agree. The action is great when it's there. The pacing's a little off. Not enough to make me like
it started out.
I don't know. I
like
still think it's a great show.
That first episode, they gave us like, oh my god, this show is gonna be nuts, and then they go back to like vampire politics, and I'm like,
Episode 2 in season 1 actually is really boring. I fell asleep. Actually, I had to wake up and go back and rewatch part of it. That was a bit of a buzzkill. Before I forget, I wanted to just kind of mention on the action. I was thinking about the fight with Alucard versus Dracula. It reminded me of Invincible when Invincible.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. No, that's awesome.
He's like, I can't kill my boy. God damn it! And then he like, you know, and the way they fought and how they.
Yep.
And his son can't beat his dad. He's just not strong enough. And dude, Dracula, I thought was supposed to be weak. He's like, he's not feeding. He's weak. Dude, if this is what he's like when he's weak, holy
Invincible
shit,
is such a
scary.
good comparison. Because, like you said, like Alucard was, I mean, he got a couple hits on him, but he was no match, like one-on-one for Dracula. Like, not even close.
No. He's taking his face and smashing it through walls, and they fuck up that castle good in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like they chucking each other through ceilings and through walls and all sorts of stuff. But
I think like when they had the team up like 3-on-1 with Dracula with all of them, Dracula was kind of on his heels, but then he was smart and kind of like took the fight to another part of the castle, and Trevor and Sypha couldn't. Sypha, I always get that mixed up. They couldn't get to them in time, so Alucard kind of had to take Dracula out on his own. And if if Dracula continued the fight, then there's no way Alucard could have won by himself, because he already lost to him before.
Well, he got close.
He did get close.
He did stab him, but he said you're off. You missed
the heart. Yep. So yeah,
give me that Batman versus Superman, the Martha scene when he was like, my boy, he just like stopped everything there. I'm like, I mean, I get it, but
yeah,
I think you're in a blood rage.
Well, at that point, I think he kind of like snapped out of it. Like you're saying, up to that point, he was just kind of like, I mean, he was depressed about his wife getting burned at the stake, and he was just kind of blinded by rage from that.
Who wouldn't be, you know?
Yeah, and even his own son couldn't really snap him out of it until, like, he got to his room. I could see that being a little cheesy, but I think it kind of just snapped him out of it and was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? It's all for nothing, really.
You think they'll bring him back? Does Dracula get a comeback?
So I might have got a spoiler.
Oh no!
But I won't say.
Oh no! He has to though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, he absolutely will. I'll tell you why I know, and I have not looked at anything. There's a scene when Dracula takes like his human jacket, that green jacket, that pullover that he had in episode 1 of season 1. He throws it through the mirror to some woods.
I saw. Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know why.
So
I
they wouldn't plant that without that following up, and I think that Dracula will come back. Oh. We'll see him. I mean, he's already haunting his son's memories at the end of season 2. And you see, I mean, it closes with Alucard having a mental breakdown that his mom's dead and he had to kill his dad.
Well, judging by the games, they kill him in every game and he comes back. So I think it's pretty safe.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe that he probably comes back eventually.
Dracula is way too powerful. Yeah, so I don't know how he'll come back or what form he'll come back, but...
And you see, like, when they do kill him, you see, like, all of the, I don't know, faces, like smoke, whatever, flying away. So he's still in some form. He'll probably put himself back together somehow.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really get that. I just saw the ring was left.
Yeah, he burst into like smoke, and then he like all his like remains like flew out of the castle and like
Voldemort
wherever. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
what
I was thinking. Yep.
Brandon wouldn't get it. He's not a Potterhead.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a great show. I'm gonna definitely get season 3 and 4 in at some point. But it's nice because they're small. They're like only like 25 minutes an episode too. So
and the seasons or the series is wrapped. Like there's just 4 seasons. It's 32 episodes in total, and that's it. Like
okay, so we definitely gotta do the next 2 seasons at some point. Can I ask a question? So.
Sure.
You guys probably can't answer this, but it did bother me a little bit. So the whole thing about the Catholic faith is that the belief is that it's based on faith, and you might not see the activities of God. I'm not religious, but you might, if you don't see the activities of God, you don't see you don't see demons, you don't see angels, you don't see it. But if you have faith in it, like that's all that matters, right? You have to have faith in it to believe. And so in this world, you have these religious people who are kind of accusing this woman of witchcraft and all that stuff. And she's really just a human trying to learn from like the intelligence of Dracula to better people. And she's really not a magician as far as I know. But there are real magicians and there are real vampires. So I'm just curious how, maybe I'm just being too a stickler, but how does this work where you have people in the real world, it takes place in the real time with a real religion with, kind of real places. You have this religion where in the Holy Bible do we meet, I don't know, vampires and creatures of the night? So it's like, okay, so there's like this alternate universe, but still like, wouldn't everybody be religious? Because you're literally seeing the monsters of the devil, I guess. And I feel like there's no convincing people. So the Inquisition that they have, or they're converting people, it's just like, if you're seeing vampires in
I don't think they see them like until Dracula
it seems
actually
like vampires
starts.
are just like out and about.
No, I think they, well, I mean, in its traditional kind of vampire rules, they can only come out at night. Like whatever
but they're wiping out towns and cities.
Well,
and
this is
regions.
Only after the
And
war.
floating castles.
This is only after the war. Dracula started the war. Like before this all happened, they were living like quote unquote in peace.
Okay, sure, but all right, fine. So maybe the humans just didn't know that vampires existed, but it seems like they did because people knew of Dracula.
And the church was after. The church in like the beginning episodes, the church was like seeking out the speakers to like get rid of them because they knew they were magic users.
Well, but they also blamed the magic users for what Dracula did, and that's why they wanted them in
that too.
Yeah, but like,
right.
But like the archbishop or whoever he was, the one that dies in like the first episode or whatever, he says like like, they kill Lisa, Dracula's wife. Dracula says, "You shouldn't have done that. God damn it." And then he goes, "You have 1 year to leave the area. If I come back in a year and you're still here, you're dead." So what do? A year later, they and he makes a face in the fire for everyone to see. And
they're just I mean, that's religious.
Guy's bluffing.
That's religious extremism for
That's
you.
Gotta be
it's blind
dude.
faith, It's blind faith.
But you literally saw the guy. Literally, it just seems that part.
Well, they just wrote it off.
Well,
they just wrote it off as like that's the devil and God will save us. That's. I think that's all there is to it.
I think I'm just reading too far into it. But I'm just like, people today don't see anything, and they try to make miracles off of anything in the world. We're digging for proof of God. That's what people are doing today in the real world. And in this world, you have flying castles. You have stories of Dracula decimating people for centuries. You have families that have worked. It's just weird. We're this real world, and then this fantasy world. And what are the rules? So I want to know more about the rules. I want to know more about that version of Christianity, I guess, where how does that work? Because we don't have vampires. And again, I'm not religious, but I remember looking at, kind of reading the Bible when I was little, and I don't remember vampires being in there. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's all the work of the devil kind of shit, and they're just thinking that they're seeing the devil.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
It's more it's just a basis. They're pulling certain things out of history to use as set pieces or plot devices, more or less.
We ourselves in modern day, we know what vampires are, but in this world they don't know what a vampire is. They don't know what any of this stuff is. So like I said before, I think before all this the war on the humans started, they were relatively living harmoniously. They weren't really bothering each other. Maybe the vampires would go out at night and feed every now and then, but they weren't going through villages and wiping them out, So I don't know.
You don't get a lot of villager talk either, other than you get a lot of church stuff, you get a lot of Belmont stuff, but you don't get a lot of random village life, what they were doing. The only thing you really get is the old lady that got the penicillin for her cough from the bread mold.
Right.
You want me to eat the bread mold? And then and that's cool though, because it shows that she's using actual science, because she's making fucking antibiotics out of bread mold to help this lady's cough, which, also makes it even more fucked up when the church shows up and starts smashing her thing, because she has a centrifuge that spins around blood to separate particles and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's a little bits and pieces of history that they're just kind of picking and using as plot devices.
I'm with you on that. I want to see more of just how do the humans live with vampires? I just want to know how they work together. What's the relationship? Because I feel they can't get along ever. So I don't know. No. I want to see more world building, I guess.
There's so many vampires in all these other cultures too.
Yes,
they know that
so cool.
Yeah.
People are fucking people up.
I'm curious because life after this war happens, I'm more curious about. Because like I said before, I think the vampires were kind of living in secret. They weren't really interacting with the humans, other than maybe one off.
But people knew of them because
I don't
Dracula
think
would
so.
He would literally wipe out. Remember they were showing in season 2 where he's I used to go around and just slaughter humans, and he did. He was a fucking. People would share that story. People would know there's a man who can turn into a bat.
It could be. It also could be an isolated incident, I don't know. It's whatever.
Or they all died and they never
fucked up
told the story.
Yeah, exactly. No one ever was. Yeah, no one survived to tell the story.
It's vampires. We're arguing about vampires, which are obviously fake. But
no,
some movies Interview with a Vampire, they delicately bite necks and stuff like this. Parts of the show, Warbrand, he's raiding a thing, slitting a dude's throat, dumping blood into his face, chucking the body, and going on to the next one. It's just
I do
slaughter for the sake of
there's
slaughter.
There's so many different
it's fucked
depictions
up.
of vampires throughout media, so many different interpretations.
This is just one based on a video game, a very good interpretation based on a video game.
It really is. And vampires, dude.
A little bit.
Just making vampires cool again. I noticed. I'm just thinking like I haven't really been into vampires probably since the 90s. I just not found a franchise or anything really that attracted me with vampires at all. Like I didn't get into Twilight. Like sorry, not for me. But this is cool. Alucard is a fucking badass character, and I love these kind of I think that Dracula is sick. I don't know. I want more of it, man.
These vampires don't sparkle. They don't sparkle in the sunlight like Twilight vampires. Well, let's be honest. It's the fucking Interview with the Vampire was the last cool vampire thing.
I agree.
Which
Lost Boys
we will be talking about soon.
Yeah, teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
So good news is that there's going to be another Castlevania series, which will focus on Richter Belmont, and that's in the works right now.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. I was guessing that Trevor and Sypha are going to hook up and out will pop Simon Belmont at some point in the future.
So I think I was looking. So it's funny. I
believe looking that's how the timeline goes.
Looking at the Belmont family tree earlier because there's a lot of Belmonts.
Oh.
There's a lot of Belmonts.
Really digging in there.
I was gonna say, yeah. This show has definitely got me into the Castlevania lore. Yeah, Leon was the first Belmont, and then Trevor. I mean, there's kind of some descendants in between there, but they're unknown. And then the next Belmont is Christopher after Trevor, then Simon, then Juste Belmont, and then comes Richter. So Richter's a couple generations down.
Richter has been in a couple games too. I don't remember which ones are which at this point, but
it's based on this.
Simon was Castlevania 1.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was always the basis for me. Is Simon was the foundation.
Based on the timeline I'm looking at, Richter's timeline and like Symphony of the Night era is like over 300 years after the events of this show, which is pretty cool.
Oh shit. Okay.
No.
So that takes place in like late 1700s. So it's pretty cool.
I think you guys should get into the 360 Lords of Shadow.
I have all of them. Xbox is really cool about giving awesome games with the gold, and I got all those on my Xbox. I was looking at playing them, but I had to finish the show, and I'm trying to do the Uncharted games. But yeah, dude, it's weird how this works. Like, this is how you do it, right? You have this fucking franchise that started in the 80s, and you make a really good TV show. It happens to be anime style or whatever, and here we are kind of like, I want to go back and play the old games. I want to play the 360 games. I want more, so kudos to whoever made this happen. That is how you do it. This is exactly how you do it. I think this is great. So cool. Castlevania is the fucking Netflix anime. Come on, that's so cool. How random, Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. Like you said, this has got me like way into Castlevania. Like I said, I haven't played any of the Castlevania games, so I'm excited to start digging into some of them. So
let me give you a word from my decades of experience. The dagger is the shit weapon. You never want the fucking dagger. It's garbage. You always want the boomerang.
I'll remember that.
The boomerang, I was hoping that the boomerang would come out. Maybe it will in the future, but let's be honest, the boomerang's the best.
Then the Morning Star?
That's all I have to say. I think I'm done. Well, it's like it's your special weapon. It goes with the holy water or the daggers or the axes or the boomerang. Those are like the main four from the first movie or the first couple games. So.
Okay.
Daggers at the bottom of that tier list.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about other than how awesome the show was? Is there anything else you guys want to cover? I feel like we talked about.
That's a lot of Castlevania. I'm glad you guys are getting in here.
Yep, it got me in a Castlevania mood now. But yeah, James. Great show. I'm definitely gonna watch, even if we don't do it for this show. I'm definitely gonna watch season 3 and 4.
I think we have to because I want to do that, and it ends with season 4, right? It doesn't go on anymore after that.
The series is done. 4 seasons.
So we'll recap it. So we got time, but like we should recap it, Absolutely. And we also know that these guys did Blood of Zeus, which is an anime
Yes.
styled series on Netflix about Greek mythology.
Love it.
So,
Yes.
I'm into
fuck,
that.
man.
Also looks
Might
really,
be good.
really good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's trying to be awesome, hopefully. All right. So, yeah, let's take a break and then let's get into 20 questions. And Dave, you're going to be doing this one, right?
Aye.
All right, then.
Let's see if you guys can.
All right.
You can handle what I'm
Let's
doing.
do it.
Okay. All right, let's take a break. We have returned from our break, and we have returned with a game. Dave is going to be hosting this one. We're going to be doing 20 questions. What's the theme? Eric and I have been doing movies. Are you doing a movie?
I decided to keep it.
For the 20
I kept
questions?
it with a movie.
Sweet.
Okay.
I didn't
okay,
want to.
cool,
I didn't
cool,
want to change stuff up too much. Maybe next time we do 20 questions, we do games. But
Yeah, that'll
we
be fun.
figured to keep everything fair.
All right. Hey, and real quick, I'm because you guys know I'm active on Clubhouse, but I created a club for the Nomads of Fantasy, and I'm looking to probably host some live 20 questions on video games, movies, and TV shows on that app. So just throwing that out there. So if you are listening actively, that is going to happen. So that'll drop. So just if you want, you can reach us. We've told you how to do that. Otherwise, if you follow me, that's going to happen. It's really fun. But yeah, sorry, Dave. I just want to plug that real quick. But go ahead,
No,
man.
that's good.
The only rule is too, we just can't guess the movie. As soon as we guess the movie, the game's over. Other than that, we can do anything we want.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like, can you just say yes or no? Okay, that's the rules.
Yeah, you guys. Ball is in your court. I have wiki pages and
Ballin'
IMDb
out.
pages pulled up. Yeah, and you guys are.
All right, I'll
The
start
world
with
is
my.
your oyster.
Start with my. I think I asked this last time too.
I gotta keep track over here too.
Was
Okay.
Yeah,
this,
keep track, David. Yep.
Was this movie released after the year 2000?
No.
Okay. All right. Older movie. I like it. Let's just narrow down the.
Was this? Yeah.
Narrow down
might
the
as well.
years.
All right, let's. You want to do like 90?
Yeah, let's do 90.
Get the decade figured out. Okay. Was this? Did this movie come out before the year 1990?
No.
90s movie.
So it's a 90s movie. Okay. Does this movie? Is this movie part of a franchise?
Yes, it is part of a franchise.
Is this?
Okay. The way you say it, yeah. Is it the first
this-
one or is it like?
Yeah, I was
deeper
gonna
into
say, is this movie the second or the first movie of the franchise?
No, it is not the
Ooh.
first.
That's 3.
That is 4 questions.
Is this
Almost a quarter of the way there.
Is this movie? I don't know why, but
Go
I was
for it.
thinking, is this movie a comedy? Is this movie a comedy?
No, this is not a comedy.
Ooh, the way he
Not a
says
comedy,
that, it's
okay.
not. It's like, what is it? Schindler's List.
It's like the opposite.
Yeah.
That is not a comedy.
Was this movie directed by Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, or
Oh.
Ridley Scott?
One of your fucking your fancy question. Yes, one of those 3.
Okay.
Oh,
All right,
direct
good.
that
Dude,
movie.
ain't Tarantino.
Is it Steven Spielberg? Is it Steven Spielberg?
That's your question?
Yes.
No,
Does-
it's not Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
All right. Shit.
It's gotta-
Okay. Hold on a second.
Okay. Whoa. Terminator
James-
2. I'm thinking.
Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. Yeah, it's Schwarzenegger in this.
Oh, we're already jumping the gun. We're jumping the gun.
Spielberg,
Yeah.
Cameron, or what was the other one they said?
It's Ridley Scott.
It's got to be
Ridley Scott.
Cameron.
Well, it's
Gotta
Cameron
be
because he
Cameron.
didn't know it was Ridley Scott, and if it's all right, so yeah, it's a Cameron movie.
I'm writing down all your questions. That's all.
It's Terminator 2. Let me see here. Does this movie was this movie known for having good CG for the time?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
But we don't want to get too caught up because if we're wrong.
No,
we're
I
wrong,
don't.
so
I know.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to blow the load. Well, it's not obvious. Is there any other? I mean, it's got to be Cameron. There's no way it's Ridley Scott. I can't even think of anything Ridley
He's
Scott
got like
did in the
Gladiator,
90s.
but that might have been 2000. Yeah.
So it's okay. So I mean, everything points to Terminator 2 at this point because like franchise. It's a franchise. It's not the first movie in the franchise.
It's not Titanic 2.
It's not Titanic 2? No.
I mean, it could be Titanic 2.
So what? How many questions are we at?
You have asked 8. You got a good chunk to work
all right,
with.
All right. Is Arnold Schwarzenegger in this movie?
Should we just say, just say, is Arnold in this movie?
Yes.
Oh, Eric. Is Linda Hamilton in this movie?
Confirm? Wait.
Hold on. Let me just double check that. Yes.
Oh my god.
Is the T-1000 in this movie?
I'd have to look that one up. Let's see. Is that a real question? You're really asking that?
Yeah, I gotta confirm it's Terminator 2.
Hold on.
Well, Dave, yes, the
T-1000 is in this movie.
I was gonna say, does Arnold Schwarzenegger at any point say, "Come with me if you want to live"?
Should we just use the rest of our questions with questions?
Oh, we want to set a record here. We should just stop now and just be like, "Yo, it's Terminator 2, Judgment Day," and just take the win. What do you think?
Is this Terminator 2, Judgment Day?
Yes, you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I made it easy. You guys.
It's because of that question that I asked.
That was a good question. You hit it on the head,
dude. It's really hard to
you had
get
the
movies
decade down.
Group stuff up.
Well, also, I wanted to make it a little easier because the James Bond one I thought was pretty difficult, and then
yeah, you heard about that. Yeah.
Eric's one. I mean, I guess. What was it? Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, Inglourious Bastards. Okay.
That one's not like the most popular movie, but that one's a fairly decent one. But I wanted to make sure it was something that you both had seen. I was going to pull something like Fight Club or Inception or something like that, but I wasn't sure if you guys had both seen that. So I guess
we've talked about T2 a lot on this.
We have too. I wanted to make sure that was in there too, or like The Matrix or shit like that.
That was only 7 minutes. That was really quick. If you want to do another one, I have.
I was gonna say we could do another one. Let's crank out another one.
All right, let's do another one for funsies. All right, I've already got it. So you two work together. Go ahead, real quick. We can do this.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, you've already got it?
I already got it. I got a good one. Yep, go.
He has one in mind. Okay. Is this movie released after 2000?
Was it released before or after? I'm sorry.
After.
No.
Ooh, no. Okay.
Was it released before 1990?
Was it released before 1990? No.
90s movie again.
Another one.
I'm
should I
tempted to ask the same questions. Yeah.
Was this movie produced by Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, or Ridley Scott?
No.
No. Okay.
I know you're probably setting us up because you know what we're gonna ask.
Is this movie part of a franchise? That's just a good question.
Honestly, I don't think so. They might have made. It's a 90s movie. They may have made a direct to video sequel.
Ooh, that seems like a big hint.
I don't know, but I would just consider this as a one-off. Like we all think of it as a one-off. So yeah.
Was this movie made by Disney? Or produced by Disney? I guess we could say that.
Yeah. No. Wait. Hold on a second. All right. I want to be very careful how I answer this question because.
Do you want me to rephrase this question?
No.
Okay.
I don't think at the time, because Disney's they're big.
I was just gonna change my question to: does Disney own this property now?
I think so. Yes, now they do. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so that's like what, 4 questions? Okay, go ahead.
That's 5 now.
Oh, that's 5. Thank you. Okay, cool. Oh, thanks, Dave. You're honest.
I'm keeping track over here.
Honest
All
Dave.
right,
That's
so
what we always call
owned
him.
by Disney. Owned by Disney. That narrows it down so much. Owned by Disney.
Yeah, they only own everything.
Everything.
Especially if it's good, they just like, we'll buy that.
Is this movie animated?
I was thinking that.
Oh, that's a good question. Let's talk about what animation means. What does animation mean to you? Obviously, hand drawn.
What? Any
Who
kind
Framed
of
Roger Rabbit
3D
is,
or 2D or
has like animation.
Who Framed
there's
is mixed.
there's gonna be gray
that's-
areas when you think about it, because I did this with my wife.
Well, that's what I was thinking about when I asked it.
So I'm gonna answer that
Okay.
question, Dave. This is what question
Wait,
6.
wait. If we say, can we change it? Can we change it to, are there animated like elements of this movie? You know. Well, because that could fall into like CG animation too.
Let me answer Dave's question. Answer question 6 is
Okay,
it animated? And I'm going to say yes. This film is animated. This '90s film is animated. All right.
Okay. I had something, but I don't think it's that. I was thinking like anime. I was thinking like Animatrix, since we were just talking about it, but it's not. I don't think
That's
not owned by
2000s, yeah.
Disney, and that's
Oh,
2000s.
and
Yeah.
you know, Disney owns Matrix. That'd be wild if they did. Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised. So it is animated, and property is owned by Disney today.
There was some waffling on the animation part though, which if it was like a Toy Story or something like that.
Well, I'm just stressing the importance of what you mean when you say anime. Don't just throw it away and be like, well, there's Inglourious Basterds and there's Little Mermaid. Like, one's a camera, one's hand drawn. Like, yeah, but there's other ways that people have animated on top of storytelling in film. So just, I don't know how else to talk
Is
about
this a rotoscope movie?
Dude, I'm just saying. It's not. I'm just saying that. Like, think about. Just be open-minded and creative with the way you think about
My
it.
brain thinks Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but Brandon said the name. Of the
Why would I
movie,
say the
so
name
I don't think he
of
would-
the answer? Exactly.
I don't think he would say
Or
the
would
name.
I?
Or maybe it's
He's
because I
trying to
knew
trick us.
because I knew you would call me out on it. So if I said it, they wouldn't think it. Or maybe I knew that and then you knew that, so I said it.
Trying to play mind games. Got to get into the meta game here.
All right. What do we want? Like 8 questions there.
What are we up to? Okay.
Dave's
all
keeping
right,
track,
let
I
me
think,
here.
but I think it's 8 questions. I don't know.
I think
We're on question
try
7.
to.
7. Okay, 7.
I want to go. I want to go for
Yeah,
a
you're right.
genre. Is this a comedy? Would you classify this movie as a comedy? Or is there comedic elements?
Yeah.
That's too
Yeah,
wishy-washy.
it's not a bummer of a film, dude. It's aimed at being humorous. Yep.
Okay.
That was question 7. Question 8.
Yeah.
Which
is right.
With Dave's game, we figured it out. I'm gonna stump you fools. You're not gonna get this.
I was being a nice guy.
You were being nice. That was too generous. We also got lucky when we got lucky.
Yeah. You hit it early. Let's see. Not a franchise. Disney owns it. Animated, yes. Comedy, yes.
Was this movie, I guess, well received when it released?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna say we don't normally pick bad movies, but
Yeah.
I like to throw that one
Sure.
out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not Super Mario Brothers the movie.
Ew, that one had no animation.
Well, there goes my guess.
Oh, I thought the dinosaur scenes was animated in the beginning of the movie. If you go back and watch, it's got a cool animation
it
actually,
might
but it's
be.
not that movie. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Now you got me thinking.
Is this movie based off of a video game?
No, it is not.
Is this movie? No, just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It's not-
knock out Mortal Kombat, knock out all
Is this
those
movie?
ones. I think it's Warner Brothers.
Is this movie, going off of that question, is this movie adapted from another form of media, I guess.
Are you saying like books or comic books, basically?
Yeah, anything like adapted from a video game, TV show, a movie, or book.
I'm double checking on the book part. Definitely not a video game, and I'm looking at the. Yeah, I don't see it being based off of
Okay.
anything.
All right.
I think it's created for film.
Okay, that's good to know.
What was that, Dave? Question 8 or 9? 9. That was question 9.
That was question 10.
That was question 10. Oh man, appreciate you helping me out there.
We're on 11 now. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just fact checking, so I'm losing track and answering questions. So thank you. All right, question 10. Yeah, guys, come on, here we go.
Nope.
Second half.
Now we're on question 11.
Question 11. Sorry,
We got 10 left.
Hey, I had 2 beers during this, so I don't know, and it's late.
Maybe something weird like The Rocketeer or something, some bullshit
Yeah.
like that.
The animation one's throwing me off.
Yeah, it's an animated film, guys, in the 90s.
Well,
Disney
you
owns it.
You weren't 100% sure about the animation thing.
No, it's an animated film. I just want you to make sure that you understand what animation means. Just don't think of it as simply as people drawing and moving. Like
Well, when
cells
you
in
say
front of
that,
us
it
on
makes
the
me
screen.
think it's like a combination of like live action and animation. It's just throw me off.
Is this a Pixar movie?
No, it's not a Pixar movie. But that's a good guess.
He would have known that was owned by Disney or produced by Disney.
Well, owned by him now, yes. But
let's see. I just kind of want to get it out of the way. Does this movie use 3D computer animation?
oh, I should ask that instead.
Oh.
How do you
Animation.
see? How do you?
Three
This is
dimensions.
confusing me. How do you not know off
Made
the top of your
by
head
computers.
Yeah, but
if it's an
have you ever
animated
watched?
movie?
Yeah, but I mean, like you could watch like a movie and then they'll draw on it. Like, hold on, we just.
Oh my god, I hate this.
Okay, I'm gonna say that no, there's no 3D. I'm trying to think. It's a spectacular movie. It's an animated movie, so that you can do anything you want. So but I don't think there's.
I was gonna
3D
say
in
what
it.
I'm gleaning from this is that it's not a traditionally animated movie. It's not straight 3D animation. It's not straight hand drawn 2D animation. So there's something funky going on.
Yeah, I was thinking
here.
something like some weird like Sin City. I mean, Sin City's in the 2000s, but something like that where it's not like rotoscoped, but it's
right.
not.
Oh, I get what you're saying, Dave. Where they keep
Like, my brain keeps thinking
Yeah.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I
What was
don't. I mean,
that?
I don't
Is
want
it
to throw you guys
like-
off and go down the wrong path by thinking like that weird. I'm just saying, just like keep your mind open to what animation means. But
Is it like that weird movie that you sent in the Discord with Keanu Reeves where he's like,
oh, that's a good.
you know,
No,
Yeah,
it's 2000s.
yeah.
That
A
one,
Scanner
yeah.
Darkly.
like something
That's
like that
2000s.
is what I'm thinking of, you know.
I feel bad. I feel like I got you guys thinking about something that's
You got me so confused.
yeah. So it's a comedy, 90s. You guys have definitely seen this. Animated film.
Definitely seen this. Okay.
Yeah, Disney owns it. Yeah.
90s comedy.
Yeah, it's comedic. I don't think it's like
Now I'm thinking
like laugh out loud like hot, but I'll tell you it's a family movie. It's like
Oh.
that's the quality of comedy.
I got an idea. Can I waste a guess here? I don't know if this is a waste.
well,
but...
don't guess the movie.
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
I'm more
Okay.
leaning towards the animation
Okay,
side
okay.
of it. I was going to ask about stop animation.
Oh,
but
like stop motion?
I was going to either that or the director.
Could go for
'Cause it
yeah,
could be-
either one.
Yeah.
Director maybe.
ask away.
Is this a Tim Burton film?
Ooh.
Yeah, this is a Tim Burton film.
Oh, I think you nailed it. Yep. I think you nailed it,
Uh,
Dave.
I think Dave got in there.
I wasn't
is
even
this-
thinking that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think yep.
I'm trying to whittle
Is this
down.
Halloween themed?
I would say this movie is kind of Halloween themed.
Okay, Halloween and Christmas. Yeah, okay, I get I pick up what you're putting down.
Yeah, see? The animation part.
What are you doing?
We whittled it on
What are you
that.
talking
All right,
about?
Dave, you can just do the honors. I think we know what it is.
Is it?
Uh,
Do we want to? We still got 4 more questions left. If you wanna.
I mean, if you want to ask who the main character is, you could go for it.
Yeah. Is there a character named Jack Skellington in this movie?
yes.
There we go.
Yes.
Come on.
Is this
Tell
movie
me-
called A Nightmare Before Christmas?
It's called The Nightmare Before Christmas, but yes. Yeah, you guys got it.
Yeah.
There you go.
well done.
Nice.
Dave. Good job.
That was a good pick.
It was a good one. I
like
did
that.
that one with Sarah, and she got there as well, but it was a tricky one. She asked a different set of questions, so I'm sorry. I was kind of like fact checking.
Okay,
but-
I would have
but-
said yes to the animation question, like flat out, no question. Of course, it's animated. It's stop motion animation.
There's no humans in it. There's no live action video anywhere in it.
Well, actually, it is live action technically because
Well,
it's
it's
really
stop.
just
It's stop motion animation.
mini.
Stop motion.
It's stop motion. You're just taking a series of real photos and manipulating to move them into making it look like a movie. So technically, they physically exist. There is a box
That
somewhere
threw me off.
in somebody's studio that has the headset of Jack Skeleton to this day. They exist. So
Are there humans on camera?
no,
That-
but
maybe
I
that
just
should
think
be
of,
our
like,
question.
I would
But
say
you know how
That'd have been my
Eric,
live
you know how you're
action.
talking like about like what else is like is there hand drawn in there? I'm like I remember the floating dog, the dead like Jack Skeleton's dog.
Oh,
Blinky or
that's
the
right.
like there's some I can remember, but like there's some kind of animation around him.
Yep.
So I don't know if it was CG or if it was like
Yeah,
hand-drawn.
that's true.
So that's where I was weird because like you guys could get to a point where like you're trying to narrow down the question, and I could have fucked up answering questions in the past. That's why I was stressing my like. I just want you guys to make sure I'm trying really hard to understand how to say this without getting my ass like bit later, kind of thing. But no,
Yeah.
you guys pulled it off.
The 3D animation question is weird because that's definitely a no.
Yeah.
And it's in
but-
the early 90s, so you
Yep.
don't know when they were messing around with that stuff. But yeah, you got it.
That was
Anyways,
a good
you guys
one.
got
The
it.
Tim
so.
the Tim Burton question. That's what got
Yep,
it.
that was a good one.
Yeah,
Nailed it.
yeah. Well done.
And we've been watching that actually for the last couple of weeks. So beginning of September, Halloween starts
That's
in
a
my
good one.
house. So
Yeah,
nice, good game. That was a little more difficult.
it was a little difficult. Yeah. Well, we got 2 in there, so it was a long episode again. But yeah, we did it. Castlevania is awesome. Nightmare Before Christmas is a great movie. We have some movies coming forward. I think Dave wants us to watch Interview with the Vampire. So if you're listening to the show as the episodes are coming out, then join us in getting ready. Watch it now and ask questions before we record. But we'll be doing it in October. So yeah, that's
gearing up.
anything else.
We got
Gearing up
a
for
fair
Halloween.
amount of Halloween stuff coming up. I'm gonna actually start trying to play Resident Evil 7. I'm gonna
That's coming up.
pull the
shit,
trigger
that's
that's
this
on the
weekend.
calendar.
Oh man,
gonna
I was
say.
just thinking about playing that game the other day, and it made me nervous. I just started like getting like uncomfortable.
Yep, we got to start playing that one.
Yeah.
We'll do an episode on that next month, right? That's on the schedule for October.
Yeah, that's for next. It's gonna take me a little bit to get through that. So
Yep, just play it in short chunks. It's only a 7-hour game. So if you play in like
That's
yeah,
it?
it's short.
Is it really just that
mhm.
short? Oh my god! If we already played like an hour of it, I should just keep playing.
Yep.
Oh, that
it's
makes me feel
short.
so much better. I can suffer for 6 hours. I can't like do like 18, 24 hours of.
It can
that.
feel long if you're like, either constantly dying or too afraid to move, but it's a short game.
Okay. All right. Any final words there, David?
no. Go play. Everybody should play some Castlevania games. Go play Lords of Shadow. It's an underrated 360 game. Good 3D character action. Some good voice acting. That's all I got.
Beautiful words of wisdom. Thank you, David. then let's get out of here. It was a long episode, but it was a blast getting into some Castlevania. Did not know that was a franchise I would be getting interested in, but I am definitely into it. So kudos to the team that made it. All right, I'm out of here. Let's roll.
See ya.
Later, boys.